Gamers, the old complimentary shaders is gone, meaning my two previous videos are basically null and void. So, where did it go? F knows. The new kid in town is Complimentary Unbound, a completely new iteration of the shaders with completely new settings to cover. So, I spent 100 days creating the best set- I'm just kidding. But I did spend a lot of time altering every setting to find the perfect ones. Alright, first step, installing everything. If you want to skip ahead, that's fine, I won't judge. Now that the little bitches are gone, make sure you have the most recent version of Minecraft installed, which in my case is 1.20.4. Also, if you guys want to help me, tell me why my game lags my whole PC whenever I launch it, it's starting to piss me off. Next, head to the description where you'll find the links to everything and first get Fabric for Minecraft. Open that sucker up, make sure your version is selected and install. Now when you start the launcher, it should automatically be selected. You can head here and rename it if you'd like to stay organized. Bonus tip, you can change this number here to increase the amount of RAM Minecraft uses. Stick to around 4 to 8 if you have 16 gigs of RAM. You'll also want to start up the old craft to ensure the fabric related stuff is set up and working, and then make sure you close the game before continuing. The next thing to do is once again head to the description, this time clicking the links and downloading Fabric API, Sodium, Iris Shaders, and Complimentary Unbound. If you want to go full sicko mode, get the optional mods, with these two adding connected textures and this one adding some neat stuff like adjustable zooming. With everything downloaded, you're now going to head to Start, type in %appdata% and head into .minecraft, followed by the mods folder. In here, we're going to drag in everything except the Complimentary Unbound file. If you downloaded the optional extra mods, go ahead and drag those bad boys in too. Now we can simply open Minecraft, start it straight up, and once we're greeted with the menu, head to Options, Video Settings, Shader Packs up at the top, and finally open Shader Pack folder. This will minimize Minecraft and open a folder, which is where you'll drag in the final shaders file. Once it's in, reopen Minecraft, make sure it's selected and click Apply, then Done, followed by Done, and Done. And that's it. Opening up a world, you'll be greeted with this. Pretty incredible, right? Well, we're about to make it even better than this, so let's dive into the settings. Just before we head to the settings, I'll just quickly mention that if you downloaded the optional extras, be sure to head to Options, Resource Packs, and activate these top two here. Doing this turns on connected textures, so things like glass will look way nicer. Okay, now into the shader settings. Alright, so just a handy tip, instead of going, Escape, Options, Video Settings, Shader Packs, you can instead just press O on your keyboard and it'll take you straight here. And now once you're in this screen, we're gonna head down to Shader Pack Settings. And this is where all of the magic is gonna happen. So we're gonna be skipping these first two sections as there's nothing really of note to be changing, and we're gonna head straight into materials. So the first thing we're gonna be turning on is rain puddles. So this basically just adds puddles to the ground whenever it's raining. Personally, I'd like it, even though I hate the rain in this game. Next up, we're gonna head into integrated PBR materials, and in here, we're gonna turn on generated normals and up the normal strength to 150. This setting adds an extra pop to the vanilla textures and makes them look like they have a little more depth. Now, the next setting that we're not actually changing, but we're gonna be heading into glowing ores. And if you don't like ore blocks glowing, you can go ahead and just turn it off here. Personally, I like it on, so I'm just gonna leave it on default, which is basically just on. Enabling this setting also has the added benefit of making ores easier to find. So with that done, we're now gonna head back and now into glowing stuff. And in here, we're gonna turn on glowing armor trim. It's a pretty intense glow, but doesn't actually emit any light, and hopefully in the future they add a brightness slider to tune it down just a little bit. Next, we're gonna head back and then back once again. Then we're gonna head into water, followed by water surface color. And in here, we're just simply going to drag the blue slider up to 130. And yeah, you guessed it. This just makes the water a little bit more blue and less boring. Alright, and the final thing for the entire materials section is heading back and now into waving water normals. In here, we're going to drag the wave strength up to 1.5, and I'm kind of talking like there was more stuff to do, but that's literally it. So with the entire materials section done, we're going to head back, and back again. And now we're going to head into camera. The only thing we're going to be doing in this main section is turning off underwater distortion. This basically just removes the wobbling effect across the entire screen while underwater. Kind of annoying and makes visibility worse. Alright, and now we're going to be heading to color balance all the way at the top left here, and this is where a lot of the magic is going to be happening. So first we're going to drag general brightness up to 1.6, white brightness is going to go all the way up to 3, contrast of darker colors down to 1.15, and saturation all the way up to 1.2. So all of these together make everything a little brighter and way more colorful, probably my favorite settings to change. Alright, and that's it for the whole camera section. We're going to click back and black? What the hell? Back once again. Next into atmosphere. In here, we're going to be changing a boatload of stuff, so focus up, okay? First thing in here, we're enabling night nebulae, and also night star amount, and also aurora. We're going to be setting this to every night. And these settings simply make your nights way more colorful and interesting to look at. Highly recommend. All right, next up is the absolute most important setting to change. We're going to head into atmosphere color multipliers. In here, we're going to turn this on, and then we're going to head into noon time. And so in here, we're going to drag down the atmosphere red multiplier down all the way to 0.5, and the green multiplier down to 0.8. As you can see in the before, the sky is so washed out, and after, Jesus Christ, it's beautiful. These settings right here are an absolute must. Jesus Christ, dude. Compared to before, the game was looking so bland and boring, and now it is looking so much better. That's actually insane. All right, the next settings we're going to be changing involve the nether, because I don't know about you guys, but right now it just looks kind of weird, and visibility does suck a little bit. So let's dive straight into the settings. So back from where we were in noon time, we're going to click back and then into the nether dimension. In here, we're going to be turning up the atmosphere intensity multiplier to 1.5. Along with that, we're going to be clicking back and back once again, and then into the nether dimension. In here, we're going to turn up nether view limit to 24, nether storm off, and yeah, that's it. So before the changes, visibility kind of stinks and it looks overall weird, and after just makes it look a little bit more like the normal nether and easier to see. All right, back in the overworld, you might notice that there is a bit of like a blue haze over everything in the distance. Also, by the way, if you got the optional extra mods like the camera utils mod, you can hold C. Actually, I think the default is Z, but yeah, I remapped mine to C. You can basically hold that down and then scroll with your scroll wheel, and you can zoom in and out as much as you want. It's really cool and handy. But yeah, you can basically see there's like a blue haze over everything, so that's what these next settings are going to change. So from where we were here in the nether dimension section, we're going to head back and then into fog. In here, we're going to drag atmospheric fog all the way down from intense down to a very subtle. And yeah, that's literally it. So before, very hazy and blue, and changing that setting removes most of it and just makes visibility once again a bit better. And real quick, as you can see, there is still a very big, you know, blue fog in the background here, and to change that, all you need to do is just turn off border fog. And now with that removed, no more fog at all. Personally, I'm going to be leaving this on just because, you know, that's meant to kind of mask the fact that there's nothing beyond that point because there's no chunks loaded. And now the final fog setting here is just going to be cave fog. So I'll be switching this off as it improves visibility, but it does look quite nice with it on too. All right, and back outside, the final settings here for the atmosphere section is going to be, of course, the clouds. So we're using the default style, which is the unbound clouds. If you want a very different style of clouds, you can try reimagined. As you can see, it just makes them, you know, big, like kind of round, puffy squares. Honestly, I'm not a fan, so I'm going to be sticking with default. So yeah, we're going to be heading into unbound cloud settings next. And in here, we're simply changing the cloud amount up to 1.08, cloud size down to 80, and that's it. Some very minor adjustments, but just makes the clouds a bit bigger and adds slightly more of them as well. All right, and that's it. We're done with the atmosphere section. We're going to click back a bunch of times and now head into the final section, other. So firstly in here, we're going to head into something that is pretty cool, the moon phase influence tab. In here, we're going to turn on moon phase night lighting. We're also going to turn full moon intensity all the way up to 2, dark moon intensity up to 1.3, and partial moon intensity up to 1.5. We're also going to turn on moon phased night atmosphere. I kind of almost forgot that. So overall, this makes nights brighter, but the brightness will actually vary depending on the moon phase as well, which you probably won't notice, but I think it's cool. All right, and now it's on to the final setting, which is definitely the most important one to complete the look. We're going to be heading into world outline, and in here we're turning world outline on and thickness up to 2. So this setting adds a highlight to every block and makes everything just pop a little more. Here's another example where you can see the effect a little bit more prominently as well. Now a handy dandy bonus setting is something that I actually use quite often. As you can see, the shadows are facing towards us right now. And say you have a build or something that you want to take a picture of, but the shadows are, you know, on the front of it, and it looks kind of weird. What you can do is head into shader pack settings once again, and then into atmosphere and sun/moon. And in here, what you can do is change the sun/moon angle. So right now, this is at like -40, I think, and we're going to be changing this to +40. And so once we click apply, as you can see right here, all the shadows are going to be facing a different way. There we go. Yeah, so the shadows, instead of going here, are now over there, and the sun was right here, and now it's over here. Another tip is you can also play with the time of day to change that up a bit more as well. As you can see, that moved the sun all the way over there, and now everything looks even more different. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the new shaders and settings I'm using. It's still pretty different from the older complementary shaders. I'm not sure if I still prefer them or not, but if you want to use those instead, the link to the download will be in the description, along with my previous video with my settings for those. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.